On this episode of the Turnbuckle, we get an injury update on Britt Baker. Big Con signs a multi-year deal with Impact Wrestling, and RJ City lays out the differences between AEW and WWE. Folks, we're reading your favorite wrestling movies, some wrestling news, because it's time for the Turnbuckle. Britt Baker's injury isn't expected to keep her out of action for long. AEW announced on Wednesday that the former champion was not medically cleared and had been removed from a scheduled triple threat match against Ruby Soho and Toni Storm on Dynamite. Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that Baker's injury is not considered serious and she isn't expected to miss much time. Meltzer said, "Britt had an injury. The way it was described to me, and I don't know what the injury was, is that she is not hurt badly and she possibly could have wrestled, but it would have been a bad idea for her to wrestle. I heard it wasn't serious. Whatever it is, she is not expected to be out of action for any length of time, is what I was told." Baker appeared on the stage area during the singles match between Soho and Storm on Dynamite. The distraction she provided allowed Soho to pick up the victory. AEW President Tony Khan revealed on Busted Open Radio yesterday that the Baker vs. Soho vs. Storm triple threat match will take place once Baker is medically cleared. Baker last wrestled on the January 11th, 2023 edition of Dynamite from Los Angeles. She teamed with Jamie Hayter and defeated Saraya and Toni Storm that night. Hayter and Baker also teamed up to defeat the Renegade Twins on last week's edition of Rampage. Baker defeating Billy Starks aired on AEW Dark this week as well. So it's good to know that the injury obviously isn't that serious, and reading this, it makes it obviously seem that at some point during one of the matches that she had recently, she obviously must have suffered some sort of like tweak or something like that, or like a pull, and it wasn't looking good. So it was just, you know, like when a basketball player gets like a hyperextension, and it's like, it's not like bad, but like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, let's, you know, put you on the side for a little bit and wait for you to be like 100% everything. So I'm sure that that's pretty much what's going on here. Obviously we're gonna have to wait until she's back in the ring, but it's nothing long term, you know, everything's fine. It's not like Nikita Lyons, who currently has a torn meniscus and MCL, so she's probably going to be out for like a couple months, all things considered. So it seems like they're just going to keep her on the shelf for just like, you know, like a week or two, just to make sure that she's all good, and throw her back in the ring and everything's going to be perfectly fine, so there's nothing to worry about. Next, we're going to talk about Big Con and how he signs a multi-year deal with Impact Wrestling. As first reported by PW Torch, the 42-year-old has signed a multi-year deal with the promotion. Big Con previously wrestled as Connor in WWE from 2010 to late 2019 as a member of the Ascension. Con took part in a set of Impact tapings from Florida on January 21st, 2022, losing matches to Josh Alexander and Eddie Edwards. He wasn't brought back to the promotion until last November, but has since taken part in 4 sets of television tapings. Con is currently aligned with Diener, Alan Angels, and Sami Callihan in the design. The faction was formerly known as Violent by Design and was led by Eric Young until he was killed off in a storyline by Diener. Connor and his former tag team partner Victor still hold the record for the longest reign as NXT Tag Team Champions. They held the belts for 364 days from September 12, 2013 until September 11, 2014. Finally, we're going to be talking about RJ City and how he lays out differences between WWE and AEW. Pro wrestling personality RJ City said he has more creative freedom and less red tape to work around now that he's working with AEW. The former WWE Network personality left his former company and joined AEW last March, where he now hosts his weekly Hey EW show. A former independent wrestler himself, RJ City became a successful pro wrestling content creator after stepping back from the in-ring action last spring. In a new interview with Stephanie Chase, he opened up about the differences between working with AEW and WWE. It was similar in a sense where WWE let my sensibilities guide me, but there were a lot more restrictions in terms of what we could do and couldn't do, he said. It was like getting sucked up in a tornado. A bunch of stuff was happening, then a bunch of stuff they wouldn't plan just wouldn't happen for a million other reasons. It was like a city where if you want to get your driver's license renewed, you have to talk to like 40 different people, and you're like, well, this will just never get done. There were a lot of ideas they got attached to in WWE that never came to fruition because of all the red tape, and that just drives me insane, City added, noting AEW has a good balance of providing enough resources without breathing down the performers' necks. I don't mean this as an insult, I mean it as a compliment. It's like the bare minimum to make sure it gets done, which is the best, he said. They're focused on making stuff. Sometimes the company is too big that they have the luxury to work on stuff that will never happen. Recently, City has also teased future television AEW appearances. So Hey AEW, I mean, has got to be like one of the best things on, you know, going with AEW right now, and it's one of those things that I really like that AEW is doing because it takes all the wrestlers and it humanizes them, you know, if they haven't already been humanized already. But it's just that, you know what I also really like? I like that the wrestlers go in there like like half kayfabe, half real. Like they go in there, they answer like the real questions, and you know, some of them actually do end up laughing and stuff like that. But a lot of them, like if you notice like a heel on there, a heel will be like, oh, what am I doing here? Why are you asking these questions? You know, what's wrong with you? And the face is like, oh, I'm happy to be here. I love these questions. You know, I like that there's like a set personality, you know, to the show. I like that RJ, he isn't trying to like upstage any of the performers. The performers aren't trying to like upstage him. I love that it is a team effort. I love how it is a collaborative effort to make the show good and entertaining and funny and informative. I really love the show as a whole altogether, and I think RJ City, man, oh my lord, the fact that I didn't know about this guy up until like AEW. I didn't even know he was on WWE. Actually, you know what? He was on WWE, and I never even paid attention to him just because like I didn't really, it was like a 2.0. It was just a thing that was like happening on WWE, and you didn't really think anything of it. And now that they're on like a completely different promotion showcasing all their skills, you're like, wow, I can't believe I never even saw this guy, you know? I would love to see AEW live. That'd be absolutely great. Only time will tell how that's going to turn out. We're just going to have to wait to see what happens with RJ. But I'm, you know, hopeful that it's going to be something absolutely fantastic. What are we talking about? So Britt Baker's all right. I mean, obviously she's not all right. I probably shouldn't have said that, but you know, she's a lot better. You're right. And she's not like seriously injured, and she's not going to be out for too long, which is good. And she's going to be back sooner rather than later. Staying with me, okay? Speedy recovery. You probably had no idea I was going to say that. It's all right. Big Con. I like that name, Big Con. Sure, listen, okay? I can't really think of anything. Yeah, man, shouts out to Connor. It took me a little bit because I looked at him and I had to keep looking at him a couple times before I was like, oh, snap, it's Connor, you know? So, yeah, I mean, hopefully, you know, this means that, you know, he's going to be doing a lot more stuff, and hopefully we see Victor somewhere down the line in the future. I'm not saying we have to, but, you know, it'd just be nice to see him together again, you know? Just think of the old times, you know? That's all. That's just me. And RJ City, so he was saying how AEW is just a lot more like, all right, you have an idea? Okay, cool. We trust you. I feel like that's kind of like what the idea is. It's like, hey, you know, we are not going to like grab hold of like what you've got going on, and we're going to like, you know, twist it around and like tell you how to do it. We're going to sort of let you do that because we have like this mutual understanding of like, well, you're not going to make it terrible, and we know you're not going to make it terrible. So like, do whatever you can to make it as good as you want it to be, and we'll help you out with that. And WWE's like, yeah, sure, all right, but wouldn't it be better if you did it like this, or, you know, wore that or something, you know? So I like that AEW is a little bit more relaxed and like, you know, he said that they're really like straightforward. He said like they do like the bare minimum, which again coincides with the whole like, listen, work it out how you feel as though it should be worked out, and everything else still follows suit. So you know what, boys, that's gonna do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this episode and has a wonderful tomorrow as well. And as always, big hugs all around.